Hi, I'm Romy.
And I'm Nicole. Welcome to the Her Pursuit Pod, where we share our journey of building our business, The Daily Drip, a dynamic media platform that provides content and community for more than 4,000 South Florida female CEOs, founders, business owners, executives, and professionals.
Whether it's through our newsletter, events, or this podcast, our hope is to inspire your next big move and arm you with the tools you need to crush it. So tune in on your drive to work, wind down with us after a long day as we share our journey and the journeys of other remarkable business leaders on Her Pursuit.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Her Pursuit. I'm Nicole, co-founder of The Daily Drip, and I'm here with Romy Wallach, my partner in crime, and we have the Afuri Aesthetics team back with us for another episode to talk all things natural beauty. We're here with Dr. Spence and his lovely wife, Rochelle, who is also a Daily Drip thought leader, and we are going to talk all things, forget the trends, what's the right thing for you? So, Dr. Spence, I want to kick off today's episode with you to kind of walk us through your consultation process. I think that was the most impressive thing for me when I had my first experience at Afuri, was how in-depth that process was and all the things you asked and all the ways you really curated the treatments. I thought I was just going to pick a service off a menu. So walk us through, like, what's your process for that?
Sure. Well, good morning. We're both here from Afuri Aesthetics. So process. A good consult is really just trying to find out what a person is truly seeking, where they're truly at in life, and where they're truly trying to get to. So the interest is, what is really what do you see when you look in the mirror? What are things that you're worried about? And then my job is to really evaluate you, talk with you, and then we really talk a little bit about how to get you from here, where you are, and then to where you're trying to go. A great perspective is super important, and then we can talk a little bit about some general approach. So the number one thing to understand is you need a daily regimen, right? You cannot escape this pursuit of personal beauty without a daily regimen, right? And so that certainly starts with a daily routine from the morning, and it certainly starts with a nightly routine. Those are things that I ask about, and those are things that we need to solidify before we kind of move forward, right? So everyone needs a daily moisturizer, they need a daily cleanser, and please don't forget the UV in the morning time. You can look at the light as the enemy to your skin, so you need to protect it a little bit, right? So cleanse, moisturize, and you need some type of UV protection when you're out there. And then in evening time, you need cleanser again, moisturizer again, and then you can choose some form of serum to give you hydration overnight. So when I'm evaluating someone, and certainly Rochelle does the wellness piece of it, I take a look at their skin.
Stop looking at mine as the example, okay? Like, you're zeroing in. I feel you processing.
So young, beautiful people like Romy. So the question is, what are you really worried about, right? And moisture, if you want to talk loss of volume, is the key thing as we get younger, right? And so all of this stuff that we look at and sometimes we don't like has to do with loss of collagen to the face, loss of moisture to the face, or volume if one wants to say that. And the question is, how do we help you replace that, right? And some things you need to do in regards to stimulating collagen, I tell everyone, you certainly need to be taking collagen by mouth. There are tons of brands that are out there, and then you ultimately need to be doing something to stimulate collagen. Once we get to this young age of 30, there are many things that start to happen to the deeper part of our skin, and we lose a lot of our collagen and our elastin. And then a lot of that stuff in terms of my evaluation is, how do we help you stimulate that? And then kind of move you towards getting some more volume to your face. And so a lot of the modalities or a lot of the things that are out there are trying to achieve that. And then, we take a look at your skin, and then we always have our friends, our wrinkles. We all have them.
You don't, and neither does your wife, for that matter, but carry on.
So we take a look at that, and then the question is, how do we achieve that? And that's really just, the way that you achieve relaxation of those areas are through neurotoxin.
So I have a question. So someone like me, so I see the reels, I see all the social, I've been somewhat freaked out by some of what I see when you see people talking about like what they've done and put in their faces. Yet I'm super interested in what I can do to, in the most natural way, start to take care of myself properly, like address the wrinkles. And so, I think I represent a good portion of people, right? So you've talked about the skincare in terms of the moisturizer and the cleanser, but in terms of what would be the next step for someone like me that's maybe a little freaked out by doing anything to it? Like, how do you walk me through that? Like, what would you say this is where you should start next?
I mean, so ultimately, once you come in, we take a look and then we assess, how many different sort of areas to your face are you really worried about in terms of wrinkles? And so wrinkles by themselves have different grades, and depending on the severity of your wrinkles, that dictates, how we address that. And one of the more common ways, if you want to say, to reduce fine lines and wrinkles has to do with, besides the daily campaign like we spoke about, is definitely you can use some neurotoxin. You have different brands that are out there, Botox being the first mover years ago. And then you have other brands like Xeomin. You have brands like Daxify, which is a new trend, speaking to what Cole was speaking about. And you have Dysport, and these are all brands that are used in order to relax the muscles that cause the wrinkles to occur. We speak a little bit about that. You could do subtle, or you can get very, if you want to say, robust in your treatment of wrinkle management. It could be very subtle. I mean, younger individuals are getting into it. They call it sort of baby Botox, where you're doing just these little tweaks in terms of neurotoxin use in order to relax the muscles earlier in life. So thus the theory is that this will take you a little bit longer to get some of those wrinkles.
What about like sort of, my understanding, or I've seen it too. I mean, we live in South Florida, where like your face stops moving. Like people, you can tell. Do you know what I mean? And you get away from all of that. And like how? Well, it's true, right?
Your face stops moving.
Well,
I
it
don't think
does.
we can
You
say that on a podcast.
you talk. Well, you can edit it out, but I'm just saying there are a lot of people that have gone very extreme, and then you can no longer even read the expressions on their face. Like, what is that the result of? Like, how do you
Avoid that.
avoid that?
So you can easily do it by how much of the product you use, right? So for us at Afuri, and in general, I think most people, they want to look refreshed and not frozen. All right, so you can definitely kind of prevent that, and it just has to do with how much product or how much neurotoxin you're using. So you can do light. You can do a small amount, right, to just get a little bit of reduction of those wrinkles so you have more movement and you stay away from that frozen experience that you speak about.
And is there the other thing that I had always heard was like once you start, you can't stop, or like the maintenance part. And I think for someone like me, like maintenance in terms of physically having to go somewhere sometimes is a bit. So like how often do you need to be doing those things? Is there a downside if you don't maintain it every 4 weeks or every 3 months or whatever it is? Like, does it just drop?
No, so definitely doesn't drop, and that's pretty funny. So every time you use neurotoxin, it lasts for about 3 to 4 months. Some people it's a little bit longer. You never need to worry about stopping, but one needs to know that once you stop, literally you simply just go back to where you were. Remember, you're getting younger, so keep that in mind. But you do not worsen what's going on with the muscles. The wrinkles just simply come back. You should be fearless in regards to stopping. If you want to wait, 6, 8 months, 9 months, you can absolutely do that without any worry.
Some people do it every year, and they choose not to do it every 6 months or 4 months. And I think also our approach is we're not aggressive. And so I think this is where, so I think a lot of our clients feel comfortable with us because we will tell you, you don't need it. We have no problem saying no. Because we also have we have a reputation to protect, and we stand by the natural look. So enhancing is what we're about. We just want to make sure that your natural beauty comes through no matter what.
So do you start with facial? Like, do you, like for someone who's like maybe a little like just starting their journey and they're doing the cream and whatever, like, is it like, let's start with facials. Let's start getting you into the habit of seeing, what we can do in that lane before maybe we look at some more aggressive treatments, or how, like, what is the process?
Absolutely. I mean, that's a great thing to mention. It's all together, right? I mean, you definitely need an evaluation of your skin as a part of your assessment, right? So, skin, volume, as well as what's going on with the muscles of your face. Facials are a great place to start because they can play a role with stimulating elastin and collagen, which gives you that youthful appearance to your skin. So, it's a great place to start. And actually, we're realizing that for maintenance standpoint, again, the idea is a daily campaign, but it's also a monthly campaign. So you absolutely should be doing facials at least monthly in order to keep your skin healthy.
When I left Afuri, I didn't want anything on my face. I just wanted to like walk around with my face
You
out.
leave
like
with a glow.
you don't want to put any makeup, nothing. Like I could not believe how good I felt and how good my skin looked. It was popping.
It's just like eating, right? You have to constantly feed your skin. So a monthly routine helps with that. It's kind of like you have to get the monthly dose of serum, or food or whatever that may be to continue the journey like that.
Wrinkle management is less my concern. I'm fine with my wrinkle friends. Like they can hang out all day, all night. I'm more of like a skin resurfacing person. I've always had horrible skin. It's always been like the bane of my existence. And so when I came in, we talked about all these different ways you can resurface your skin. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need microneedling. You were like, I don't know about that. And you're like, there's PRP and then there's laser facials and all these things. So walk us through like skin resurfacing. Maybe wrinkles are not your thing, but you just want to resurface your skin. You want something that's more, a more smooth skin tone. Where do you start with that?
So that's a great question. So when you start talking about lasers and resurfacing, I mean, again, it has to do with the quality of your skin. What has your past been? Where are you now? And always remember, everything is all taking place at once. So always remember what you eat affects your skin. And when you're talking about resurfacing, now you're talking about what do I do to the top layer of the skin, or you can be talking to the deeper layers of the skin, and that depends on the laser that you're using. General resurfacing to just the top layer can certainly help you with any scarring that you may have over a period of time. It does help you with fine lines and wrinkles as well. And it also stimulates some of that collagen and elastin in the deeper layer so that your skin becomes fresh. You remove the dead layers and you get a more smoother sort of appearance to your skin.
Do you prefer laser over microneedling or PRP, or when do you prefer or advise each one? Like what's the case that would be ideal for each?
Interestingly enough, they're doing some of the same things. Sometimes it's a matter of downtime. So when we say downtime, we're talking about how long does it take you to get back to your normal kind of daily life. And so lasers depends on the type of lasers. So if you're doing light resurfacing, downtime is a shorter period of time. And microneedling can be a little bit longer depending on how your skin responds to microneedling, which are these tiny sort of needles used in a device to make tiny punctures to your skin in order to help stimulate collagen, help you with scar sort of removal. But they're all designed to stimulate collagen, elastin deeper to the skin in order for you to get a more youthful appearance to your skin. And so radio frequency, which are things such as Morpheus, these devices are doing the same thing as well. So it depends on the downtime, and there's a little bit more efficacy when it comes to laser use, but they all can achieve some improvement in terms of your skin.
You're almost gauging it also based on the patient.
Yes.
Like, where's their comfort level? Like, can I afford the downtime, or what's that?
And finance, right? So you also give them the option. So the reality is that, as he just mentioned, laser has more efficacy. So obviously that would be the ideal one. However, we also understand that we each have different budgets. So the option is there. We always provide what we recommend, and also what other options there is, so that you could choose based on what you're capable of doing at the moment.
And so laser is the largest investment.
Right, absolutely. And it certainly depends on where you are. But the good news, again, is that, listen, we're at a stage where you can really pursue your beauty dreams, and it can match where your financial position is, which is great. I think years ago it was more, if you want to say, relegated to individuals that were more affluent. So it's a great time to be in this space where you could do these tweaks as we get younger to look our best.
I've never felt more hyper aware of my skin in my life. The light is coming in, you're looking right at me, and all I can think is I'm going here to Afuri. Like I can't just stop looking. Like, but it actually makes me excited, to be honest. Like I'm excited. I have my facial book for Saturday, which I'm pumped for. But Rochelle and I talked, and I had a lot going on in my life, which just I didn't have the bandwidth to even focus on this. But now that I've kind of gotten through that, like, this is very important to me. And we talked about, like, and you were amazing, because you're like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, when you're ready, I'm going to be here, and I'm going to get you through it, and walk you through what works for you. And so I'm excited to take this journey, because I have been so intimidated, I think, a little bit, and a little freaked out by what I've seen out there. And the way you guys approach all this makes me feel like understood. Like, you understand where I'm at and what my, and know how to, like, gently move me through it with your super monotone. With your very zen.
I mean, we definitely stand by our motto, feel good, look good, then you can live good. So if you're not feeling good, why even start the process of looking good? So now you're there, you're going to come, and then you're going to feel even better, and then you're going to live even better. So there you go. It's all about
So I love all the things that we've talked about, because we've covered a lot of the hot topics. These are like some of the hottest trends, treatments out there. And I love what you said, because it is true. Like, it is no longer for the affluent. There's been like this democratization of skincare and self-care, and it's now become a priority for everybody, and there is something for everyone. But I happen to know, having been an active Afuri client, that you guys really do take a comprehensive approach to this. You talk a lot about what happens outside of the spa. And how important that is to the results that you're helping your clients achieve. So can you run us through, like, top 5 tips for what to do not in the spa in order to support the results you're trying to achieve through these treatments? You're making this investment in you. You're coming in either for the facial of the month club, or you're investing in laser, or you're doing injections. Like, what are the top 5 things you absolutely need to be doing in conjunction with those things?
Well, definitely we want to start with, how much sleep are you actually getting each night?
Can you start with something that we can all achieve?
And I think it doesn't have to be like this 8 hours, and we all need a certain amount of sleep. But I think that you need to track what's really going on in your busy life. How are you really, are you really doing restorative things in order to get your body, and thus your skin, and how you look and how you feel back to your baseline, right? And how do you accomplish that? Whether you do it with a watch that you wear, or an app, or a ring, the question is, how much sleep are you getting? Are you restored? The next thing is really, are you exercising? Right. So there are a few things your body absolutely needs. Right. So definitely, besides nutrition. So you mentioned top 3. We're already at 3. Right. Mm-hmm. What it is you're eating, how much fluids are you consuming? Are you eating healthy? That does affect your body, reflects what it is you consume, and your body reflects what it is that you do. Right. So it is the same thing in regards to getting sleep. Right. Number 1, figuring out a way to track that. If you can do it on a computer, that's fine as well. What it is you are eating, right? How much are you getting in order for your body to reflect, and then absolutely exercising, super important. And then in terms of the fourth thing is some of what we spoke about, right? The products that you're using at home. You could take your time to research products, or you can get that information from your consultant when you go in. definitely Afuri. We speak a little bit about some great medical grade products that you can choose, and also the ones that are a little bit less expensive if that's where you are. So that's number 4. And then the 5th one I'm going to leave to Rochelle to present. But those top 4 things are extremely important.
I think also the social environment. So that's also important because the behaviors that you have sometimes is a reflection of your social environment, and that could affect your skin, right? If you're drinking a lot, right? So how often do you go to events? So like you have to be aware of that as well. And for me, it's all part of self-discovery. He just mentioned, we don't all need 8 hours. I know I do.
Right.
Like it's something I know about myself. I need 8 hours. I need to eat. So having a regimented schedule of how often that I eat is something it's individualized, right? So we talk about all of that to identify what that looks like for you and what do you need, because what I need may not be what you need. And how often do you pause and reset? It's the truth.
You laid it out for me.
Right? How often do you pause? Because that gives you the time to rejuvenate, right? So that you could feel your best in your own skin.
People in the audience who didn't get that joke understand that this is how serious Afuri Aesthetics takes like a comprehensive, holistic approach to beauty. Is that Rochelle and the Afuri team host a pause and reset every quarter for their clients and their members to come together and really exhale and really kind of reflect and regroup. And they are really practicing what they preach. They're trying to support their clients and their community in these outside activities that 100% affect the way they look and feel. So they're really walking the walk when they say that they have a heart-centered approach, and they're really trying to help people first feel good so that they can look good, so that they can live good. And their programming is just another way that they really are different than any other med spa out there in the market. And well, you gave us a lot of homework. I don't drink enough. This is something we all talk about. I know. So there's a lot of things I got to work on now. Unfortunately, I can't just come and like sign up for a treatment and get it all done. I have a lot of homework to do. But thank you for joining us today on this episode and sharing so much good information, tips and tricks. If you are someone who's thinking about starting your beauty journey, your wellness journey, and you're in the South Florida area, you have to check out Afuri Aesthetics. They're in the Sunrise area, right near Sawgrass Mills Mall. And if you're a Daily Drip member, they're going to make it super, super worth your while to go, because you're going to get all kinds of member perks, discounts, free trials, giveaways. They do so much for our community to really try to help them love the skin they're in. So check out Afuri Aesthetics, and we're going to have a really great program coming up soon with the team, a live event where you will get your opportunity to ask Dr. Spence and Rochelle anything. So if you have any burning questions, any curiosities, stay tuned and check out that event that we're going to have coming up and join us so that you can ask him anything and get kind of your burning questions answered. Thank you both so much for being on the show. We love having you here. Feel a little, self-conscious. The lights are extra bright, but we're glad that you were here. And we'll see you all back on another episode of Her Pursuit.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Her Pursuit.
You can listen to new episodes every other Wednesday on Spotify or watch us on YouTube. Stay in the loop on all our virtual and in-person events, read our latest articles, and catch new episodes by subscribing to our free weekly newsletter.
Check out the episode notes for more details, and we'll see you here on our next episode of Her Pursuit.